Hello and welcome to the first in our series of Yoga Breakdown. I'm so excited to have you here. My name is Valerie Cajun. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I have been practicing yoga for about 16 years or so, on and off. I first started practicing when right after my daughter was born, and she's turning 19 in February, if you can believe it. But I started practicing after my daughter was born as a way to kind of lose weight and tone up, and I fell in love with it and have been with it ever since. I have practiced at home, I have practiced in studio, I have practiced all over the place. I have taught kindergarten classroom yoga in the past, and I have done some one-on-one teaching as well for people who were interested in starting a yoga practice. And I am now getting certified as a yoga teacher, and so I will have my certification in May, so I'm so excited. So anyway, I am absolutely thrilled to be here and absolutely thrilled to do Yoga Breakdown. This has been a concept that came into my mind since I started my YouTube channel. I think I started my channel almost a year ago, like 10 months ago or something. So this is something that's been on my mind since then that I wanted to add onto my channel, and now I'm doing it. My husband has been so amazing to me this Christmas. He got me great lighting, he got me in a wonderful camera, so now I can offer you what I've been wanting to offer you all along. So I'm so excited. Anyway, let's get to it. So this time around, as you can see, I am sitting down and having a conversation with you, so I am not showing you a pose right now. You might be thinking, how are we breaking down a pose, Valerie? Well, what we are doing is we're not breaking down a pose today. We're breaking down an idea. We need to get these simple things in first before we can move on to poses. So first of all, if you are new to yoga, this will be really good for you. If you're an experienced practitioner, you may be bored at first, but you may learn some stuff too. So stick with me, people, okay? So honestly, what we're doing with Yoga Breakdown today, I'm breaking down basic terms of yoga. If you're new, it is so intimidating to walk into. I get people who walk into our studio and I start talking to them about stuff and they're brand new and they're like, what is that? What is that? What is that? So I realized that there are just, you know, if you're coming like off the street, so to speak, and coming into the yoga studio or going online and taking your first class, you may not really know what we're talking about. So I wanted to break down some simple terms for you. So let's start with the types of yoga, because types of yoga there's just so many of them. I'm not going to go into all of them, and I'm going to go into the ones that I'm most fluent with. So there is Vinyasa yoga is what I'm going to start with, and I will I'm typing that in right now so you know how to spell it. It's a Vinyasa yoga. And Vinyasa just means flow. So it's a flow. And if you're not really sure what I mean by flow, flow is movement. So Vinyasa is more about moving with your breath. So as you're moving or bringing your arms up, you're maybe breathing in. As your arms go down, or you're bringing your body down into like a fold, you may be breathing out. So your yoga instructor should be cueing you how to breathe in and breathe out. And when I say cue, it's the words that they use to explain what you're going to be doing next. So they should be saying, you know, breathe in, and then they'll name what you're going to be doing for movement next, and then breathe out or exhale, and then the next movement. So that's what a vinyasa is. It's going to be movement with breath. Vinyasa can be very slow, it can be fast, it can be anywhere in between. So definitely pay attention. If you are going to a vinyasa class and it says all levels, the teacher is going to gear to advanced and new students. Slow flow, which means it's going to be slower, a slower vinyasa flow. We'll break it down a little bit more for you, and we'll keep it just slower so that, you know, if you're new, that might be something that works for you. If you want to, you know, slow it down for yourself and learn everything, and your teacher will be well versed at slowing it down, making sure you know what's going on as well. So that's what vinyasa means. Another term you might hear right away off. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I was going to go into some other verbs. So we have power. Power is a faster vinyasa flow, a little bit more athletic. It's definitely one breath per movement, and it is a much faster version of a vinyasa flow. Like I said, a little bit more athletic. I would say a lot of times it's heated, which means when I say heated, it just means that the temperature of the room is elevated. Heated can vary. At our studio, heated I think is about 85 degrees, so it's really considered a warm room. Some other heated rooms are closer to 100, so that kind of thing. So it can be warmer than that too, but I'm not going to go into all of the variations of heated yoga. But anyway, so that would be what that is. So I would say, I mean, you're welcome to go to power anytime you want. If you're a new practitioner, I would suggest starting at maybe a slow flow first and see what you can do. Because even if you're new to yoga, you may, if you have an like athletic background or fitness background, you may catch on quickly and want, you know, to speed it up or something like that. But starting off slow is always a good thing. There's another thing that's called gentle yoga. You'll see this across the board. Gentle yoga is going to be I would say even a little bit slower than slow flow. It's not really flowing yoga all the time, although some teachers will flow a little bit. I think that when I teach gentle, because when I like to do gentle at home, I like to do a little bit of flow, that will be happening as well in my classes. But it is, I mean, some gentle you'll see it will just be all floor postures. Others will be combinations, and but you're really kind of taking it down, again, slowing it down a little bit more and maybe holding a position for a little bit longer of a time than you would if you were flowing. So there's a couple of things you're gonna see. Obviously prenatal yoga is yoga for pregnant ladies who would like to do yoga as well. Prenatal can vary. I've taken prenatal at a number of studios, and it can vary. It can be really, really gentle, or there can be more flow. It depends on your teacher. It depends on the class as well. I think if the teacher is seeing classes like a lot of their students are big into fitness and they're not as worried about there being some issues with the class, with their prenatal students. And what else did I want to cover? There is and I'm telling you the ones I'm most versed at, the ones I usually go to the most. So there is also BIKRAM, which is the heated yoga. BIKRAM has a series of, I believe, 26. I'm going to use another term, it's called ASANA. I'll tell you what that means in a minute. 26 postures, or 26 asana, and they're always done in the same way. And the same, so if you go to one of those classes, it will be the same class every single time, where the other classes like vinyasa flow and stuff and gentle, they'll be changing all the time, or most of the time, you know, depending on your teacher or whatever. But Bikram has a set sequence, and a sequence is just a series of postures, and the room is very, very warm. I'm going to hesitate. I think it goes up to 106 in the room, but please correct me in the comments if you're wrong, because I'm not a Bikram person. It's too warm for me. And I tend not to like the same series all the time. I like to change things up. So anyway, that's what you would get there as well. I'm not well versed with Ashtanga. If you are, please comment below. Let me know a little bit more about Ashtanga, which I believe is a lot. I think we do a lot of some things that are Ashtanga in vinyasa classes as well. But please let me know if you know a lot or know a great resource for Ashtanga. I'll look for one too and see if I can link that in the description box for you, and see if I can get some info on that too. Another one you may have heard of is restorative yoga. Restorative yoga is using a lot more props. You use bolsters, blocks, pillows, blankets to support your pose, and you're going to be holding the pose for a lengthy period of time, which could be like a 5-minute period of time or so. And there is definitely an art to that. Teachers who teach restorative are incredible. I would love to be a restorative teacher, and I will definitely do some more you know, research on how to teach restorative yoga, but just to kind of let you know what's going on. It's definitely, sometimes restorative people think it's just like super easy yoga, non-athletic yoga, but it's actually pretty difficult to hold a pose, even if you are, you know, you have all your props under you for an extended period of time, because the mind starts to wander, and that can be some of the most difficult pieces is when the mind starts to wander. So it's definitely an art to that. So there are some of the types of yoga. So that is what we're talking about there. Another thing that we are talking about is, or some other terms you might hear. So we covered the different types and some of the names of them. Another term that you might hear is Om. And so you might just be like, what's an Om? Om is a chant. It is supposed to be a universal sound, kind of like universal in general. It doesn't necessarily have to be from like a higher power, but it should be a sound that we're all well versed with. We kind of understand it at some level when we chant it. And you are welcome in class to chant it, and but you do not have to feel like you have to chant it. So some people, it's just not part of their practice to chant an Om. I'm on the fence about whether or not to offer Oms in my class, because I don't know how people feel about it. So I think I might do a little bit more research on that and see, and definitely comment below. Let me know how you feel about the Om in class. So the Om is when a lot of times we put our hands to our heart center, our hands on our knees, and we let one out. I'll demonstrate for you. Bear with me. I don't like singing on camera, but here we are. You would go Om, and you'll do that in unison with the other people in your classes. That's your Om. That felt amazing, by the way. I should Om just randomly for no reason, because it does connect you to kind of a deeper part of yourself. But if you're new to yoga, you might not be ready to connect to deeper layers. I don't know. But anyway, it's a lot to take in, right? So another thing you will hear in class, like I said, asana or asana, you may not hear it in class, but you might hear it or read it when you're like looking at yoga literature. That's just going to be the pose. That's just what that is. An asana or asana is just the pose. Another thing that I want to break down too is that you're going to hear in class is you're going to hear the term Namaste. Namaste, you probably have seen it on t-shirts. I have a t-shirt that says Namaste. Actually, it's a sweatshirt. I mean, I probably have at least one. And you probably have seen those ones like Namaste in bed t-shirts and all this other stuff. So Namaste means the light in me greets the light in you. I know it's a little wacky if you're new to all this, but it really is just a greeting. It's kind of like saying hi, like having a t-shirt that says hi, except it goes on a little bit deeper of a level, in my opinion. But after class, a lot of times there'll be a bowing and a namaste. Again, that may not be for everyone. I love the bow and namaste, so I'm definitely going to keep that in my classes. And unless I have people who say, hey, look, I don't want to bow and namaste in your class, but most classes will have a bow and a namaste to end class. Kind of a nice thing to do, to just be like, thank you for class, you know, that's it, you know, I'm grateful for class. I'm so happy I was here, and it's the teacher saying I'm happy you were here, and the students saying thank you for leading us through this beautiful practice. There's then another term, practice. So I want to let you know what practice means. Practice is just doing what you're probably thinking of, like if you're new, is doing like the exercise with a series of postures from start to finish. So that is what a practice is. So you will hear a lot of times people talking about practicing. Ugh, I've had my legs crossed here for like 20 minutes and now I've lost feeling in my foot. So if you're wondering why, I'm like, ugh. So practice that's all that is. So you'll hear a lot about people talking about practicing or being in practice or whatever else that they're doing. And that's what that is. There's also a term you'll hear like, it's practice not perfect, like all these cute things that yoga teachers say, just to remind their students about why they're here. And that leads me to another point you might be hearing a term called intention, building intention in your practice. And that's intention. I'm gonna let that scroll below as well. And you may be hearing a teacher talking about building intention and you may be thinking to yourself, I don't even know what intention is. Like, what is that? So they'll say, you know, start to build intention in your practice. This might be a good time to build intention in your practice. I am not a huge fan of intention. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know that you necessarily need to do it. Some people really enjoy doing it. All it is thinking of something that you want to work on during your practice. So it should be just like the first thing that comes to your mind. So you may just be like, you know, why? It's really answering the question, why did I come to my mat today? So a lot of times when we talk about intention, I ask myself, why did I come to my mat today? And then I think about why I came to my mat, and that's it. So what you should be doing is bringing that in throughout your whole practice. So you're like thinking about that a lot while you're in practice. That's where I don't like it, because a lot of the times I'll think about it initially, I'll practice. It will be a part of my practice because I thought of it initially, and then I kind of end it, like thinking about it again at the end of my practice, but not necessarily throughout the whole practice. So I don't want you to think when you work on an intention that if you lose it throughout the practice, or you've been breathing and thinking about your breath and, you know, not thinking about the intention, that you're doing it wrong, because you're not. That's like awesome that you do it that way. It is perfectly fine. There are times where I'm like, why am I on my mat today? And it's crickets. I don't know. And I let that go too. Then my intention is just to be here and just to get the job done, so to speak, get her done, and then that's it. So intention is something that you might hear as well. And there was another term that I thought that I would cover, and I can't think of it now, that you will hear during your practice. Oh yeah, the breath. So you may hear some of your teachers talk about Ujjayi or UJJAYI breath, and there's controversy about the Ujjayi breath, but anyway, Ujjayi breath is a deep breath to the back of the throat. It's really a pranayama technique. There's another term I will explain in a minute, but it is a it's kind of like when you fog your glasses and you go but you keep your mouth shut and you go to the back of the throat. That, and I did it extra loud, but you may hear your teacher say layer on your Ujjayi breath. If you got one, great. It's just honestly, it's a way to tune into your breath. It's a way to get your mind thinking about your breath instead of all the other things it likes to think about. And so you might just want to, you may do it and it may feel good to you. You may do it and it may not feel good to you. You may have asthma. You may have a cold. You may just have a number of factors that just don't work with Ujjayi breath. In that case, slow, regular breath is key, and you're fine. So don't worry if your teacher says Ujjayi breath, but that's what Ujjayi breath is, if you're wondering. If you're wondering what I meant by pranayama, pranayama is breath work. It's working on your breath. It's changing your breath from its normal everyday breathing. Even when you slow down your breath for practice, you're practicing pranayama. So it's very simple, it can be very complex. I'm totally interested in pranayama, and once I finish my teacher trainings, I am inundated with that work right now. I would really like to start studying pranayama because I really think it's interesting when you can control your breath. I think it's valuable in so many situations in life to be able to control your breath and your response to things as a result. But don't feel like you need to even know what pranayama is. It's not essential. But anyway, I hope I broke down enough. I'm looking, and I've been speaking for about 20 minutes, and I think in my previous video I was telling you guys this would be like 5-10 minutes. So this one's gonna be a little bit longer. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna edit this and see what happens, but I really enjoyed talking to you today and breaking stuff down. So thank you so much for joining me for Yoga Breakdown. I'm so excited to offer you this. There are like a million other terms and there's all the Sanskrit and stuff like that, but these are just some basic ones for you to get you started, and hopefully I covered a couple of the major types of yoga you may come into as a new practitioner. And if you're an experienced practitioner and you're totally bored, I'm sorry. I hope you clicked off by now if you're bored. But I also hope that you may have got some valuable insight into what I know and what I'm here to share with you today. So thank you so very much. I'll say my namaste to you. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Also, remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I really appreciate it. Comment, share, like. Love you guys. Thank you so much.